allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming. So it's our regular meeting that we're going into. We were in closed session before regarding litigation matters. No action was taken by the board that we have to make any discussion in public right now. So I'll ask the clerk to take a roll call vote, please.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Here.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Cindy.
You're having a hard time hearing us?
Yeah, Cindy particularly.
Okay.
No,
All right, before we get started, I have to read the mayor's notice here of adequate notice. So pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this live and remote Zoom meeting have been provided as follows. One, notice of this meeting was published in the Citizen of Morris County and the Daily Record newspapers, and a copy of this agenda was forwarded to each of the town's official newspapers. Two, notice of this meeting and the agenda were posted on the bulletin board at Town Hall, 100 Washington Street in Boonton. Three, notice of this meeting was posted on the outside front door and an ADA accessible door at Town Hall. Four, notice of this meeting and the agenda were posted on the town website and the Town of Boonton Facebook page. The other thing that we like to remind everybody, so this is a hybrid meeting, so we do have individuals that have the ability to log in, and we ask that those that are logging in, they just mute their devices. Sometimes people log in both with the phone and the computer, and we ask that they mute both of them and only take one off when it comes time for any public comment. If you are logging in via Zoom, we disabled the chat function, so the only way to participate is during the public comment section. You have to hit the raise hand icon, and our town administrator, Neil Henry, in the back, he'll let you come in to make a comment, and that's it. And then when we get to the sections of the meeting tonight where the public's allowed to make comment, you just come forward, you just state your name and sort of the street you live on, and that's just to help the elected officials get a sense of whether or not you're in their ward. You get 3 minutes to make a comment. Everything is recorded, so we ask that you just keep that in mind, remain civil, watch your words, choose them. It is public comment. It's not really a public debate. So a lot of times people come up and try and demand an answer from the board. That is not what we're legally required to do. We're legally required to have you come up and make comments and listen to those comments. But what we do sometimes, if it's something that we can get an answer for you right away, we will answer it. Sometimes we might redirect you to a different department and give you that information, and you could potentially get that answer later on. And then that's about it with that. So we're going to go right into our agenda tonight. And the first thing that we've got here, Neil, do we have you? You want to go first? Are you going to do the health department as well?
Yeah, I was going to do the health department and my own report.
Yeah, why don't you go first? I want to get that other email.
Okay, so tonight's health report from Justina. It's her COVID-19 update, which was effective June 16th, 2022. To date, there have been 1,929 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the town of Boonton since the start of the pandemic. The average age is 38.16. Median age is 37. We have 933 males, 996 females. The age range goes all the way up to 98 years. Over the past 7 days, we've had 8 cases, and that's down from 27 cases from a couple of weeks ago. The past 30 days, it's 127 cases, and we're down from 145. So far in the month of June, there have been 48 cases in the town of Boonton. Justina continues to work with the Boonton School Superintendent and nurses on the ongoing COVID changes and the communications with the NJDOH. She's leading the charge in communicable disease and lead investigations. Boonton residents can obtain the VFC and 317 vaccines available at the Rockaway Township Division of Health and Butler Health Office. If you've got any questions on that, she can answer them if you want to give her a call. Boonton will be hosting a skin cancer screening in July or August. She's in communication with the provider about the location. More information on that will be forthcoming. As far as my work, I've spent the last couple of weeks spending a lot of time working on the budget, which we believe we're coming down the home stretch on. The hope is that be in a position to introduce that at the meeting July 5th. That included a review of salary and wages, operating, and the capital. I just want to share my screen real quick. Up on the screen, you'll see the brand new Pepe Field basketball court. Fortunately, we've got, I think, a screen out over on this side. That's just about done. They've got a little more painting to do in the center court, but that's up and running, and we'll be ready to start the Pepe Park playground next week, and our Canals Park playground will begin in early September. So that completes my report, Mayor.
So next on the agenda is the finance update, and we've added something new for this meeting. We talked about it in the previous meeting and we were able to get that information. But if you're looking at the agenda, what you'll see is the quarterly taxes as 3 different points in time: June of 2020, June of 2021, and June of 2022. And you can see what we've collected as a percentage of what was due. In 2020, we were 96.1. 2021, we were 94.73, and 2022, we're 93.85. This sometimes is a little skewed depending on when that day falls. So we do track this. This was the first thing we kept track during the pandemic as sort of like the canary in the coal mine. If we had to make any difficult decisions, if that number of collections was trailing down, we would have to make some difficult decisions. We didn't. But the other thing that we wanted to show everybody to keep track of is our delinquent, what we refer to as our utility reports. So this is our water and sewer accounts. So what's up on the screen, it might be a little difficult to see, is it's broken out by type of accounts: water and sewer, principal and interest, and then a total. But I'll read to you right now. So as of June 16th, 2022, we have an outstanding balance of, I'm going to just use round numbers, of $147,000. We went back and took a look at June of 2019. So this would have been pre-pandemic, AKA our base year. We were at $81,000. So our delinquents in the water and sewer are up significantly. That's about $65,000 or 81%. Now there was a period of time, a moratorium, that all municipalities in the state of New Jersey, because of COVID-19, were allowing, keep the water and sewer on during this period, right? But now that has been sort of sunset, and now we have to go back and start to collect on some of these. And this has an impact eventually on the budget. But we wanted to show everybody that while we were great at paying our taxes during this period of time, we did have some people that fell behind in their water and sewer, which does have an impact at the end of the day on this budget that's going to be presented. And that's what I have for that. And going forward, what we'll do is we'll keep track of this on a quarterly basis. We'll give an update to everybody. So next up on our agenda is what's referred to as our consent agenda. And this is resolutions 22-160 through 22-176. And our clerk Cindy just came up and notified me that we're going to pull 22-175 from this consent agenda. So you're not going to vote on that. And just so everybody knows what 22-175 is, that was the resolution authorizing the renewal of liquor license for the Slovak Gymnastic Union Sokol. And Cindy, when they do come, we'll put it back on. Okay. Okay. So with that being said, can I get a motion to open this up?
Wilkowski.
Second, Stevenizia.
Okay, and I'll go around, I'll call on all the council members, and if they have any thoughts, comments, or concerns, please express them now. So in Ward 1, Councilmember Joe Bach.
I'm Ward 3, but I
Oh,
do
sorry.
not have.
All right, good you're paying attention. So in Ward, now I got myself all confused. In Ward 2, Councilmember Marie.
No, I don't have any questions on the consent agenda.
Ward 3, Councilmember Joe Fensky.
No questions or comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Ward 4, Councilmember Jim.
No questions, thank you.
And Ward 1, Councilmember John.
Just on 22-174, the Lombardi Hospitality Group, what is that? Or where's that?
That's a pocket liquor license. They bought that when Maxfield's closed. They bought it from the fair, so it's not being used. That's why it's closed.
But they're looking to hold on to it. Okay, great, thank you. I have no other questions.
Okay. In Ward 2, Councilmember Dina.
No questions, thank you.
In Ward 4, Councilmember Michael.
On 22-162, there's going to be a estimated tax giving sent out from the tax department. And
Correct.
its estimated tax based on is going to be $3.17 per what, thousand? Per thousand of the,
Per 100.
Per
per
100.
hundred of the assessed value?
Yeah.
Any idea what the average is going to be? Increase in real dollars?
No, it's just an estimate to now, and then when we finalize the budget, there'll be a true up. on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we'll get a refund.
Well, just the next.
Maybe.
They'll adjust
They'll
it,
just
yeah,
next-
okay.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
okay. And in Ward 1, Councilmember Si.
Yeah, no, just on 165 and 167. This is a deja vu. We went through the same thing about 20 years ago. We spent a lot of money. And it just looks like it's a repeat. So I'm going to abstain from those two. Other than that, I'm fine with the rest.
Okay, hang on. That's 22. 165.
And 67. One is the parking lot,
Rating and,
parking lot monitoring,
Main
and
Street.
New Jersey plating.
Right? So no other questions? Can I get a,
I forgot one.
Okay.
On 22-166, we're going, it says purchase two 2022 Ford Explorer pursuit vehicles for the amount not to exceed $38,000. We're getting two vehicles for $38,000.
Just so everybody knows, that was authorized last year.
Oh, okay. So we got this.
So there was just not a resolution done. So we're ready to take delivery on those two pursuit vehicles.
Okay,
In order to do that, our CFO needed a resolution to send to the
Got it.
finance company.
Got it. yeah. I like the price. That's it. Thank you.
can I get a motion to move the consent agenda forward?
So move Bukowski.
Second, Meehan.
Okay. So we're going to make a vote on the consent agenda resolutions 22-160 through 22-176, but we pulled 22-175. So I'll ask the clerk to take a roll call vote.
Mr. Bach,
Yes.
Ms. Niebrasia,
Yes.
Mr. Fenske,
Yes.
Mr. Lynch,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
Dr. Renfro Michelle,
Yes,
Mr. Wade,
Yes,
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes, but abstain on 165, 167.
Mayor Corcoran.
Yes. Okay. Next up, we have what's the unfinished business. We only have one item on that. And so this is an ordinance that is open for public comment. So when we have the public comment hearing, if you'd like to make a comment, it's only germane to this specific ordinance. At the end of the meeting, there'll be an opportunity to make general public comments. So this is ordinance 05-22, an ordinance of the town of Boonton, county of Morris, state of New Jersey, amending chapter 27, departments of the code of the town of Boonton. Can I get a motion to open this up for discussion among the town council?
So move Bukowski.
Second, Stevenizia.
Okay, and I'll try to get everybody's ward right. So starting in Ward 1 with Councilmember Si, any thoughts, comments, concerns?
No question. Thank you.
Ward 4, Councilmember Michael.
no questions. Thank you.
Ward 2, Councilmember Adina.
no questions, thank you.
Ward 1, Councilmember Meehan.
No questions, thank you.
Ward 4, Councilmember Jim.
No questions.
Ward 3, Councilmember Joe Fensky.
No questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Ward 2, Councilmember Murray.
No comments.
And Ward 3, Councilmember Joe Bach.
I have no comments on this ordinance.
Okay. Can I get a motion to open up this for the general public?
So moved, Wilkie.
Wait, second.
If anybody of the public would like to come forward, it is now 7:55. You may come forward and make comments regarding this ordinance, which is ordinance 05-22. And Neil, let me know if anybody online would like to come forward. All right, nobody from the public. Neil, anybody online raising their hand?
Nobody.
Give it 1 second. Okay, seeing nobody from the public coming forward, I'm going to close the public comment portion of this at 7:56. And can I get a motion to move this forward?
So moved, Wilkie.
Second?
Wait, second.
All right, I'll ask the clerk to take a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bach.
Yes.
Ms. Ebenezer.
Yes.
Mr. Fenske.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mr. Mean.
Yes.
Dr. Renfro Michelle.
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Mayor Porter.
Yes. All right, next up is general discussion and committee reports. We'll start with the committee reports. If anybody has any kind of general discussions of stuff, they're more than welcome to bring it up after the committee reports. So the first committee report we have is the Darris Theater, and the chair of that is Councilmember Murray.
So the Darris Theater Committee has not met since our last meeting, but we are meeting on Wednesday evening. And I will give a full report on that at our next meeting.
Yep.
Thank you.
On the grants, chair of that is Councilmember Joe Fenske.
Thank you, Mayor. On, I believe it was June 6th, we had final presentations for the grant applications for the Dr. John Taylor House, as well as the Civil War Monument on Main Street. We continue to work on a wish list of projects for various grants so that we can have the information required for grants assembled prior to the opening of the grant application round. We'll be meeting this month, and I will have more information after our meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
And then the last committee we have for tonight's the police committee, and that's Councilmember Jim.
We met earlier this afternoon. We discussed a number of topics. I think it's probably timely here that the first topic we spoke was speeding around town. I understand there's some residents here particularly interested in it. It was a pretty lengthy discussion. We have some equipment that's going to allow us to track and quantify speeding and determine what areas of town. One of the comments that the public safety director made is once you install speed tables in one location, you're going to want them all over town. So there's been a relatively positive experience on Essex Avenue, and I assume that some of you all are going to look for other locations in town. So we are discussing that. We also discussed, as the mayor mentioned, we're in the budget process, so we're trying to prioritize the police budget capital requests. We discussed some vehicle issues. Apparently, there's a number of vehicles out of commission now, and some discussion about routinely replacing them as they, every year. And the fourth item we talked about was staffing, which comes as no surprise. We have 4 patrol squads. They're currently staffed with 3 members each. So whenever there's a person out sick, out injured, out on vacation, it generates overtime. So we're trying to see what we can do to address that and keep our overtime cost to a minimum.
And then if any of the council members have any general comments they want to bring up, now would be a great time to do that. So open the floor. Councilmember Adina? Nope.
I'm good, thank you.
So let's move to new business. So we have a resolution now. It's 22-177. And so this is the resolution of the town of Boonton, the county of Morris, the state of New Jersey, adopting pre-qualification regulations in connection with the bids for the restoration and stabilization of the Arch Bridge from the Boonton Ironworks. Can I get a motion to open this up for both?
So moved, Renfro Michelle.
Second, Stephen
This is my
Easy.
project.
So what I'll do is I'll go around with the council members, let them make any comments. If anybody from the public want to come forward or have any questions regarding this resolution, now would be the time to do it. So going around, starting in Ward 3, Councilmember Joe Fenske, any thoughts, comments, or concerns on this?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Ward 4, Councilmember Jim.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Ward 2, Councilmember Marie.
Nope.
Okay, Ward 1, Councilmember John.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Ward 3, Councilmember Joe Bach.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, Ward 1, Councilmember Si.
No question, thanks.
Okay, Ward 4, Councilmember Michael.
No questions, thank you.
And since Councilmember Dina, this is your project, I'll let you go last. Any thoughts,
I'm-
comments, maybe for the general public on this?
I'm just very excited that we're finally, I've been working on this for 4 years. And just to remind everyone that this is a $640,000 grant funded project with an $80,000 from the town match. So that the majority of this is grant funded and not taxpayer money.
So it is 8:01. I'll open it up to any public comment regarding this specific resolution. Neil, you'll let me know if anybody from online wants to make any comments. Anybody?
Nobody, Mayor.
All right, seeing nobody from the public come forward, I'll close the public comment portion of this. Can I get a motion to move this resolution 22-177 forward?
So moved, Renfro, Michelle.
That's, I gotta give it to. You get second.
Let Fensky second it.
Second, Fensky.
Okay, I'll ask the clerk to take a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bug,
Yes.
Ms. Stephen Easier,
Yes.
Mr. Fensky,
Yes.
Mr. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Dr. Renfro Michelle,
Yes.
Mr. Wade,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes,
Mayor Corcoran.
Yes. Okay, now that brings us to our public comment section of the night. It is now, I've got 8:02. If anybody from the public would like to come forward, you're more than welcome to come forward. Well, you get 3 minutes. Just come up, just state your name, and the floor is all yours. We ask that you just kind of,
I've done this
fast.
before.
Okay.
Long time. Brian Vint, 217 Crown Road. Mr. Lynch, this is actually going to go right to you guys. Probably going to go over 3 minutes. Please indulge me. Right here, you saw that video. I don't know if everybody saw that video that was posted by a gentleman from town that lives right on Breland. He posted it. We were lucky to have 2 young girls with us today. Their names are Hannah Vint and Lucy Cunningham. They almost got killed by a dump truck. If you haven't seen the video, I will show it to you afterwards. And I know the police department has seen it. Chris Patonic actually came to my house yesterday. We're lucky. And I put it like this. This is a string. Hold that, sir. This is as far as it happened on speeding on Breland. Okay, when you look at the video. So a dump truck was speeding, going down the hill. A car stopped my 2 girls. If you haven't seen the video, they come to the, thank you, the crosswalk on Breland, going to Crown Road. Okay, they stop. They wait. We've taught them all year. They've done the right thing. A car stops. The dump truck behind them did not stop. Proceeded to go around the car on the right, which I found out from the police department, that's what they're told to do. Okay. And slammed on its brakes, hit the horn. I'm down the road. I actually heard this 10 minutes, 5 minutes later, my daughter says, oh, there's a, we almost got hit by a truck. See the video over the weekend, nearly died. And I say, this is the difference. Okay. We have a problem in speeding. We also have a problem with safety. Okay. Mr. Patonic has looked, Chris Patonic has looked at the road of Breland. First, there's a safety issue of a line of sight going down that road. Trees need to be cut back, okay, on that road so you can see the intersection. Also, my demand, okay, is there a crosswalk sign that needs to be put up there? There is no crosswalk sign. That is also a school safety walk because you have 10 children right now that walk to school that live in that development and have to cross twice on Breland. At the top, which we have a nice sign, and at the bottom, this town does not have a sign. As I said, we stand here with the families, my wife, the Cunninghams, Joe, Beth, and Lucy. Thank God today we're not having a funeral and seeing that. We're lucky we're not doing that. I asked this board to do something about it, this speeding. Because instead of having, thank goodness, we could have been in the news for a whole nother tragedy in this town. And we don't want that. So I'm asking you, deploring you, and I know Chris is going to do that. I'm hoping with that, putting in a minimum, we need within the next couple of weeks, a pedestrian sign. I went there after I saw this, on my bike, put my bike, so people can hear me at home. This is the crosswalk, have my bike halfway here. 7 cars pass. I'm in shorts like this and a red shirt, not stopping. That's a failure to yield pedestrians. It's a 2-point ticket, 1 year, can you get a 1 year thing suspended license, $200 fine, 15 hours community service, I believe the penalty is. We need to do something in this town, okay, regarding speeding. And I know Chris said they're gonna look into it with speed enforcement, speed traps, but it's not just Reland. Looking on the page website, it's all over. So we need to take a look at this town to see where there's other line of sight issues and safety issues. I see that we have grants, get $80,000, you know, signs aren't expensive. Enforcement helps the town by ticketing people, will actually bring in revenue. Okay, I deplore you, and I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks, I can see at least pedestrian signs down there. Definitely in the next 2 weeks, a clear line of sight down there. That's the minimum, because I don't want to come up here saying you should have done something. I don't want that. I don't think anybody in town wants that. So please, from my heart, and you're going to look at those 2 kids from the other guys too. So I'm a little emotional saying this at the same time. You know, I know a couple of you guys personally, you know, I know some of you guys know from other things I do at the town. You know, we want a safe town, you know, and we need the police department to look at what needs to be done safely. So thank you so much for your time. I hope we didn't go over. Well, I know I did went over, but thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys do something, because if I don't see nothing done in 2 weeks, I'll be here again asking what's going on until something is done, because I don't want to come up here and say there's a tragedy. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, I'm Joe Cunningham from 39 Dogwood Road. Just to piggyback off what Brian was saying, to make it crystal clear, they need to walk this way to go to school. This wasn't like they're out joy walking or having fun. They need to cross Reland Avenue in order to walk up to John Hill School. And I would also say that if you have any doubts, if there's anything in your head like, oh, accidents happen, stuff like this happens, drive down that street on your way home today. A couple of you guys obviously need to go that way, and to Brian's point, I don't think a lot of people realize that, number one, there is a crosswalk. He mentioned the trees in the way. But just aside from that, it's kind of like a country road where people kind of drive fast thinking that like no one's around. As many visual clues as possible, because I think people just don't realize that that there's a crosswalk there. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Thomas Melito, 35 Crown Road. My daughters also are in the same grade. There's actually, how many in the same grade in our street? With another whole generation coming up right behind them. There's no crossing guard at the top of Reland. Nice fancy blinking sign. Not a lot of people listen to it. There's absolutely nothing down at the bottom of that hill. Nothing but a crosswalk. If it was my 2 daughters, that's why I let them go first. News 12 would be parked out front tonight. Beautiful park you built. Beautiful. I applaud you. Previously mentioned speed deterrence, or was it speed studies? Should be more like speed deterrence. Is that video? I had nightmares about it. Thank you for your time.
Steve Stanger, 706 Boonton Street. Mr. Lynch, this will be directed toward you mostly. I'm here to petition you guys to put in speed bumps along Wooton, at least 2 on the stretch from Oak by Pepe Field, and then another 2 around the bend from Bartlett down to the blinking light. I have been at that address 19 years. I've seen disregard of speed, unsafe driving, speeding, you name it, reckless driving, failure to yield, all kinds of traffic infractions. And I've seen it exponentially increase the last several years. I don't know what that's due to. Maybe it's social media, maybe it's people's general sense of empowerment. But just last week, I saw a teenager come down Wooton past the playground, curve hits, he winds up in the opposite lane, almost had a head-on collision with another driver. People do not change their behavior unless it's punitive. They need to know there's going to be real consequences. And if any of you are entertaining the idea that painting stop ahead or putting down rumble strips, which are just annoying, hasn't slowed them down at all. They come speeding down the hill. I don't ever see any brake lights until they get right to the blinking light. It's a brake test. So my view is, and hopefully it'll be your view too, if you want to deter this behavior, teaching 40 years of high school has taught me you have to have consequences that hurt and you have to enforce them. Once people realize that there are negative consequences and it's going to affect them, in this case, primarily by being cited and ticketed, word will get around and the behavior will change. As far as law enforcement, there has to be a consistent presence of law enforcement up and down that street. Everybody knows that there is going to be a cop across from Walmart. People know to look for him. They slow down. But if a cop was positioned, say, by the cemetery, a little bit far back on Liberty Street, he would catch the people speeding up the hill and down the hill. And they would get ticketed, word would get around, and it would stop. The speed bumps would also be a deterrent as well. But I'm asking you guys to put in the speed bumps. I understand the bit about the plow blades. And of course, Public Works would have to lift the plow blades when they plow Wooton Street. That would solve another problem because the DPW guys, they speed plow down the street. And if they had to lift the plow blade when they got to it, then after we shovel our sidewalks, they wouldn't be throwing all the snow and the salt and everything back on, and we have to do it again, this time more strenuously because it's heavier. So I'm imploring you, it's a safety issue. Or for Brian's comment, the disregard of traffic infractions around traffic laws around this town is epidemic, and it must stop for the safety of the kids and anybody else that lives in this town. Thank you.
Andrea Garcia, 530 Boonton Avenue. I live at the intersection of Boonton Avenue and Wooton. So I'm at the blinker light, stoplight, which nobody seems to understand that the stop signs and the red light mean you stop and yield. So I'm really just going to add to what Steve said. The traffic since I moved to Boonton in 2001 has become dangerous. It's if you spent some time sitting watching cars coming off Oak Street, traveling past Pepe Field, making that bend and approaching the stoplight, you would be amazed. Now, the park is going to be back in action. There'll be kids, there'll be people walking, people going back up to the park. It's really downright dangerous, even on the sidewalk. So I think the only thing, honestly, that's going to change it is physically slowing that traffic down. Signage, blinking lights, nothing. There's 15-mile-an-hour blinker lights there. The cars probably go 60 miles an hour along the stretch. So we really need help on this, and I can see it's not just our section of town and the side streets, but all over. There seems to be an epidemic of speeding. And the town, it's a quiet town, we're a neighborhood, and we just need your help on this. We need the speed bumps. We need at least 4 of them along Pepe Field and then down the stretch of Wootton to the light. So thanks for everything you guys do. It's really appreciated. And thanks for listening. These people are with us. They're shy. We need enforcement.
Good.
John Medici, live on Wootton Street, 933. I think Brian is hit, I want to compliment him. He hit the nail on the head in regard to one aspect. They need more of a police presence. Speed bumps don't necessarily work. What I've seen in the past is, because I've traveled through Montclair, they have speed bumps there. People race between the speed bumps and then slam on the brakes to miss them. If they go 35 miles an hour or better, and they have a good SUV or good suspension on their car, they don't even feel them. I know, because I used to blow through them when I had a Volvo wagon. What they really need, and Brian is right, better police presence. People respond when they get a ticket. They realize, oh crap, shit, I shouldn't have gone that fast. This guy pulled me over. And they're ready because they know. And I know that the police presence works because I've had multiple people come flying up the hill and land on my property. Some of you might recognize my property. The police do. They were the ones that encouraged me to get bigger boulders. There's a reason for that, but there's a problem with that too. We've actually had people hit the bump from the boulders, pop up over the top of them. So a speed bump doesn't necessarily work when you hit it at 40 miles an hour. It just helps propel you further into the air. What works best is a good quality police presence. I know the guys used to sit on Barnett in front of my home and they'd pull people over left, right, and center. It was great. I'd go out there, you need a cup of coffee? You need to use the bathroom, it's in the house. You guys are more than welcome to park there. And how's the view out on the left, right-hand side? Because if I need to trim the shrubs so you get a better view of people coming down from Pepe, let me know. They're not going to slow down and have less accidents at that traffic sign on Barnett, on Wootton and Boonton. What really they need to do is have the police sit by the House of Mouse, by the red apartment complex like they used to, and everybody stops. And nobody has a sense of entitlement that I go first, even though I was the third one here, because I'm in a hurry, I'm running late today. So again, what they need to do, and I know, don't get me wrong, I understand the police are under a lot of pressure because of all of this defund the police nonsense and all this other garbage that goes on. They feel like everybody's against them. The town is for them. Most of the town, part of the town is for them. And we support them. The ones who are breaking the law, they don't want to know them at all. But yet, having a policeman stop you, issuing you a ticket, you showing up at court, whether it's physically or by Zoom, and having to pay a fine and realizing, oh crap, the next time I'm going to get points. That's going to cost me more. My insurance is going to go up. Oh crap, this sucks because I'm paying more for gasoline too. That's going to change their behavior. It's not about changing their attitude. You're not going to succeed in that. You have to change your behavior. Behavior is, I just got a ticket. What do I need to do now? It's $100? Crap. That's a tank of gas for an SUV. Exactly. So what they need to do, have the police, and the question here is, Have the police been notified? Because I haven't seen them up by Barnett. I haven't seen them in 6 months up there. Have the police been notified? Anybody call the police? Why not? Why not? Why haven't they called? Why hasn't somebody, a good citizen hasn't called? Anybody call? Nobody called. Nobody cares. Well, then call. If you see somebody consistent, call them once a week. Say, hey, you know what? Time to come up again. Park by Barnett. It's a nice speed trap there. They need to know, though, that people are speeding. Do they know? Do they know?
So you have to know, there's a report of concern on the website. It's been there for a long time now.
Okay.
It creates a documented record that the public can follow and that we, the administration and elected officials knows as well as where it stands. So there is the ability to
Good.
just go on the website. It's always been there. It tracks. It's called report of concern. It's very right front and center.
Do the police read it? Because nobody comes up.
Well, the
I know
question
when they're
is,
there, I have to drive, I tell them.
but if nobody's reported
Stay
it,
there, I'll go up the hill and come around the other side, because I want them there. I want them there.
okay.
It slows people down. Having them by the House of Mouse on Boonton, by the red apartment complex, slows traffic at that light more than anything else. And I know, because I've gone through Montclair, I was talking with a fellow here before, I said, I blew through a stoplight, the cop was right there. I was like, oh crap. But he was nice because I was polite to him. I got more than a warning, but he told me how to go find it. I'm like, okay, fine. So these are the things, if you send the police out there, the people will respond to that positively by changing their behavior, not their attitude, because they'll still think, oh, I'm running late. So I'm running late, I gotta go fast. But if they see that cop sitting there, they're gonna slow down because they know it's gonna take them an extra 10 minutes of wasted time and $100, $200 for the second one. What's the next offense? Losing license, points? So having a better police presence out there is always the right route to go.
Speed bumps on Essex have slowed down traffic too. Boonton doesn't deserve any less than what Essex got.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Wootton has a ton of bumps on it that actually act better than speed bumps because they haven't fixed the bumps by Barnett, and those bumps get bigger. And you can hear the trucks and the trailers bouncing over that at 3 a.m. in the morning, at 6 a.m., at 9 a.m., at 5 p.m. You hear the tractors banging over those bumps. Speed bumps are going to do the same thing, just in reverse. And then they have to lift the plow. And the police take longer to get to their site because they got to slow down for them too. EMS has to slow down for them also. What about the fire department? Does the fire department just blow over those bumps? They've got to slow down too. If they got to get to Pepe Street, Boonton is the route they go through. So everybody slows down. And the emergency guys slow down too. The police are probably not going to sit there and go, all right, yeah, they'll just blow out the front end of their car. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. It's better to generate revenue for the town with tickets than to spend money and maintenance on those speed bumps. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Neil, is there anybody else from?
Yes, we
online?
have a Teresa Collins.
Let's give
online.
some people from online an opportunity. Who's that? That's Teresa?
Teresa Collins.
Okay, Teresa, when you come online, just remember to unmute. There you go.
Thanks. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. My name is Teresa Collins. I live at 405 Hill Street. I've been here, living here about 16 years. And I'm online tonight hoping that you guys can help me with trying to protect my property from the damage that the development behind me has caused. Some of you have, Councilman Bach, I've been in touch with. Councilman Wade has actually been out to the property. One day I actually had to call the police, so the flooding was so dramatic that I needed someone else to document it besides my many neighbors here. So the property, which you may already be aware of the flooding issues up there, is on Birch Street. It's being developed by SMR Realty. They've been made aware from the very beginning that the development of the lot that they subdivided has caused, since December, changes to the yard, which have only gotten worse and worse. What's been documented by the police, as well as just people locally, when it rains, brown water comes down into two rivers almost, one that goes all the way through my property to my front retaining wall, another one that branches off and goes right up against my back porch, right up against the foundation. 16 years I've lived here. It's never, ever been a problem. I mean, of course, in the springtime, the yard might get a little, wet when the snow melts, but it's been outrageous. So much so that when rain is coming, like the whole street starts to panic because we know how bad it's been. At first, the realtors were receptive and seemed concerned. When we started reaching out to the town and posting videos online, they ceased to be receptive. The last correspondence I had with them, they told me, "You're downhill from us. What do you want us to do?" I know that they have responsibility when it comes to runoff, at least. I'm not sure what their responsibility is as far as building on what they now know is an underground stream, which neighbors around here kind of talked about. No one knew where it was. It was something that old timers kind of passed on. Well, there's footage actually that we saw that their masons put up on their site. DPW had to come out because they actually hit this stream when they were trying to run pipes under Birch, install it. So I actually have that footage. I'm happy to share any of the flooding footage, any of the footage that I've just collected, the documentation, with anyone who can help us. The last I heard, I've been talking with Patrick Lafferty a lot. He's been wonderful and being there for us, always answering our calls. I know his hands are probably tied with many of the things that we're asking him to help with. But last we heard, the town had originally recommended to their engineer that a basin be put at the bottom of the property to catch the runoff and pump it under their property to the front of their house. That I've heard just 2 weeks ago from Patrick has been declined. Their engineer said that the backyard, the soil can't manage that kind of an operation in the back. So now there's nothing on the table. And the house they keep trucking along. It's going up, everything's being built. And I guess I'm just scared that nothing's going to happen and they're going to sell and we're still going to have this issue. So I'm just, number one, wanting to get this on the record. And number two, just asking for whatever help can be provided by the town to prevent them from just leaving us in this situation. I'm scared it's not going to be repaired and they're going to sell and we're just going to have foundation damage and the yard ruined. So that's my goal in joining tonight. And I'm happy to send any information or documentation of what's been happening to anyone who thinks they could help us.
So,
Teresa, hang on one second. We're going to respond. Neil Henry might have a couple of follow-up questions for you.
Sure.
so I know Mr. Ezzi from our DPW department, our general engineer, Samantha Anello, and myself, we actually toured town about 3 or 4 weeks ago, looking at various drainage issues.
Sure.
This clearly was one of them. Okay. And from what I was told was that Andrew Holt, who is our planning board engineer, was working with the developer to remediate the situation that you're describing. With Mr. Ezzi and myself, we also looked at, with Ms. Anello, the possibility of running a catch basin in front of that house, putting a pipe across the road. I have to be honest with you, that your comment about the developer saying it wasn't his problem
Yeah.
is the first I'm hearing of this. Now, I believe we've got bond money,
Yeah.
okay, we're holding.
Yeah.
So I think we do have leverage. I certainly will reach back to Andrew tomorrow and see where we stand and get an update.
I
And
appreciate that.
I would be happy, Teresa, to give you a call and just, let you know where we're at with it. Pat is out on vacation this
Yeah.
week, but let me see if I can get you some answers.
I'd very much appreciate that. Thank you. It'll help me sleep easier because I see them trucking along and I see nothing getting better and it's been months. So it makes me nervous.
So, Teresa, this is Mayor Corcoran. The communication that you got from the developer, like, can you have that and pass that on to Neil Henry tomorrow? when he calls
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just writing down his name. Okay. I'll get his info.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Neil,
Thanks a
anybody
lot.
else
Yes,
online?
you have Mr. Rob Ward.
Okay.
Rob is coming in.
I had to unmute there. I really like to thank everybody for, for the board and and aldermen's for hearing our concerns. My address is 409 Hill Street, and I'm next door to Teresa Collins, who just spoke, and covered a lot of what our concerns are. We also get flooding that we posted online. Not quite as bad as Teresa's because we're not directly behind 1204 Birch Street. However, we do have occasionally a lot more water than we've had in the past, and we've lived here for 15 years. I'd like to thank the town, especially Patrick and Miss Alderman Wade for really being communicative. We really appreciate that. And I know I've spoken with Mr. Wade a couple of times, and he stopped by the property. So I don't want to take up too much more time, but I just wanted to get my name on record as well. And whatever the town can do to help us from preventing the sale of the property before everything is remediated. And that's really what we're looking to do. So that's all I have, but I just want to thank you again for taking the time to listen to us.
Rob, this is Mayor Corcoran. Can you send your contact information to our town administrator, Neil Henry, so that he can both communicate with you and Teresa on this issue at the same time?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
And Mayor, I think the other option that I'll take a look at tomorrow when I do speak to Mr. Holt, Mr. Carlson is the planning board attorney, but I'll give Fred a call as well. Question that I would have is, can we issue a stop work order until this situation is resolved? But that's a legal question I'm going to have to ask.
Neil, do you have anybody else online?
I see nobody, Mayor.
Okay. Normally, we don't let anybody come up again, but we'll make an exception here. You seem to be speaking for everybody, so go ahead. Just come up to the mic again. We're a little formality.
Ryan Vint again.
Thank you.
Actually, you brought up before about, it seemed like the speeding whole thing was for the issue for the night. You actually made a good comment about you could go online. Okay, and Mr. Lynch, Mr. Me, and Mr. Wakilski, were my alderman. Maybe that could be better brought to the town, communicated to the town. Hey, you have problems with speeding, here you go, you can write it down. We'll help the police department where to put their manpower, to help. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, that's why I would like to say it again. You brought something up that was good, like to, see what we could do about that.
Councilmember Marie has an answer.
Okay.
Well,
Or a
Council,
follow-up.
Councilmember Sy, and unfortunately, Councilmember Bach, who is stepped out for a moment. The three of us are on the communications committee. And one of the things that we've instituted to communicate with people is the townwide newsletter. And I will request to have that information, although it is, I think, always in there to make sure that it is centered so that people see it again.
A little bit more.
And make it clear that that's an option for people when they have a concern to reach out and use that. Because as the mayor said, it does create a paper trail of that.
That's what I liked about it, because it would help the police department where to put their manpower.
Yeah,
It's both ways. That's why.
and it doesn't just apply to, police matters. It's any property maintenance, any concerns like that. All of those things can go through report of concern. And if you have a qualm about being identified, it can be done anonymously as well.
We took that button.
Oh, did we take that button off? I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Thank you so much again for indulging me for the second time.
No problem. Okay, it's 8:35 PM. If anybody from the public would like to come forward, they're more than welcome to right now. Neil, you'll let me know if anybody online.
Yes, so far, nobody.
All right, seeing nobody from the public come forward. Neil, nobody yet?
Nobody yet.
It's 8:36, and I'm gonna close the public comment portion of tonight's meeting. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Cindy, 8:36. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
I think the last thing.